Good evening. Can everyone hear me in the back? Good. Sorry we got a little late start. We had to bring more chairs because so many people showed up, so thank you for coming. This is our 2019 annual meeting for the Saratoga Springs History Museum. So thank you all once again for coming. We just have a short couple items to get started with, and then we'll be into the program. But I just wanted to say thanks to everyone for supporting us for so long. We've been a museum here in town since 1883, and it's only by the support of our constituents that we've survived that long. So I just want to say thank you as the president. Certainly. Is that better? Just want to say thanks for everybody supporting the museum for so long. This is an important cause in town, and telling the story of Saratoga for so long. A lot of things happen here, and it's definitely worth hanging on to. So thank you. Just have a few book or housekeeping items up front. We have a financial report to go through with Judy Meager, our treasurer. Then Jamie's going to do his executive director's report, and then we'll be into the program, which is Campaigns of Saratoga 1777, which is one of my favorite subjects because I'm an American Revolution buff. So I'm excited to hear this, like all of you are. But we'll move on, and I'll bring up Judy Meager, our treasurer, for the financial report. So if you'd like to welcome her to the podium, here's Judy.
Thanks. Good evening. Happy to see so many people here this evening, and I'm going to keep this real short. And letting you know that year to date, our numbers are up. Our income is in at almost $87,000, whereas our expenses are about $81,000. So we're doing good year to date. We don't anticipate any major things to happen between now and the end of the year that's going to change that. Some of the things that we are doing well in is our memberships are up, our shop sales and our photo sales are also up over last year. Admissions are running about level, and under expenses, everything there is running about level also. So we're hanging in there, and we're looking forward to a good ending year.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Mensch. I'm a vice president of the board here. Tonight, my duty is to announce the new slate of officers for the upcoming year. So our new president will be Charlie Kunzel. I will be a vice president again, along with Judy Meager, who you just heard. Lee Hornbeck will be the secretary, and Tom Burns will be the treasurer. So if those folks are here and want to stand up to be recognized. Well, two of us. Three. Tom's here. All right, Mr. President, back, or is it Jamie for the executive?
Really should have grabbed my phone because I left it up here, and that would be neurotic if I had it up and people were bothering me. Jamie Perillo, our executive director, is going to give his report.
Thanks, Nate. All right, so what I like to do report is here at our annual meeting, we have many of the museum members and a lot of folks that came just for the program, just to hear Eric speak. So this is going to give me an opportunity to introduce the museum to you and just tell you what we did over the past year. So first I want to say, actually, one thing I will say before we start, if you do have cell phones before Eric speaks, if you could just please silence them. But greetings to everyone, our members, community members, friends of the museum. I want to thank you for coming tonight and demonstrating your support of our museum, I'll strive to fulfill. 2019 has really been a banner year for us in a number of ways. We've developed new partnerships, taken on new initiatives, and reaped the benefits of both of these. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and exhibit the history of the city of Saratoga Springs. And if you just boil it down to one word, it really means education. We fulfill this in a number of ways. We work with the City of Saratoga Springs School District and present educational programming to all fourth grade students in the district, including tours of this museum and walking tours of Congress Park. On that end, I have to thank Charlie Kenzel, Dave Patterson, Tom Burns, and Bob Baker. These guys all do the walking tours, and without them, I would not be able to operate our educational programs or the museum. I also want to recognize one of our board members, Abigail Crotty. Abigail is also an educator at the high school, and she teaches the History of Saratoga Springs elective course. Abigail brings her students on multiple walking tours downtown in Saratoga. They visit historic sites, they visit our museum, the Saratoga Room. History is to these kids, and it helps them buy into the history of their own community. We're able to offer programs like this series and create exhibits because of the generosity of the Alfred Z. Solomon Charitable Trust. Tonight's program is the 6th lecture this year. It included Rebecca McNamara, who is a curator at the Tang Museum, who discussed the Victorian mourning. Mike Veach and Brian Bouillet discussed their new book on the history of the Travers Stakes. We had a musical event by Jane Cook. Richard Chait presented a history of the North. We debate between Charlie Kenzel of Saratoga and Jim Richmond of Ballston Spa to decide which city was better in 1836. We won. And next month, we plan to have Greg Veach lecture on his new book on crime in Saratoga Springs. So I have to thank the Alfred Z. Solomon Charitable Trust for making all that possible. We also have a new exhibit on the 3rd floor called Taking the Waters. Our curator, Michael Levinson, created an informative and creative display. Michael and I are currently working on our new exhibit, which will open next April on the great hotels during the Victorian era. This will open in April 2020. It's going to take visitors back to a time when massive hotels lined Broadway and boarding houses were found everywhere in the city. And Michael's not here tonight because he's on an airplane right now, but I wanted to thank him for all the dedication of volunteer hours that he's given the museum. We have a talented group of individuals working in our collections. Field Horn coordinates the archive volunteers, Bev Mastriani, the Bolster Collection volunteers, Diane Watson works on our collections and inventory. These folks all come in with a group of 20 volunteers every Tuesday, and I can't thank them enough for taking care of the collections and being stewards of that. This summer was a turning point for us in terms of partnerships. We have to thank the McNeary family and Prestwick Chase for being the presenting sponsors of Gala Week. By creating a week-long of events, we have begun what we hoped will be a community-wide celebration in the years to come, not just with us, but with other organizations in the city of Saratoga. Next summer, Gala Week is set for the Week of the Travers. Some of the events are already scheduled, like our gala, the Monday Night Mile, walking tours, but hopefully we'll be working with more organizations to make it bigger. On the staffing level, this was a challenging year for all of us. Some of us had medical issues, personal issues, things that delayed our projects, some significantly, but everything was overcome. When each one of us was down, somebody else on the staff and volunteer corps stepped up to make things possible. So I personally need to thank John, Agnes, Michael Field, Charlie, and Tom, and Judy, and everybody that stepped up to come in and open the doors when I personally could not. Without them, the museum would not have opened up when it did. Within the museum community, we continue to be recognized by our peers as a model institution. Very few small organizations like ours are capable of creating the quality of exhibits and visitor services that we provide. I served in my 6th and final year this summer as a grant review panelist for the New York State Council on the Arts. I always enjoy spending a few days in New York City, each summer meeting with my colleagues, but what's more important is when I'm there, it gives me great insight about what museums do well and what museums really miss. So it's helped me to bring that back to our organization. You might laugh at this, but one thing that NISCA, the council, loves is that we branch out, and we've embraced telling ghost stories in this casino. When we do, we always incorporate the history of a town and the history of the building, however, because it's our mission to educate. I don't know if you saw it, but last night we were on the Travel Channel on a television show called America's Most Terrifying Places. Personally, I'm not terrified when I come to work, but apparently sorry I didn't see the show yet, but it was a very good show, and it's going to be on again on Halloween night at 8 o'clock. So we'll be featured once more. And they came to me, I didn't go looking for them. This year we received grants from the New York State Council on the Arts, the Alfred Z. Solomon Charitable Trust, and the Saratoga Casino and Raceway Foundation, along with many private funds for projects in operating the museum. Fundraising is always a challenge for us, and it's the backbone of what I do every day. As Judy said, we're doing financially well, and actually really strong this year, but we can never lay back and just take it easy. We always have to be moving forward. Our next major fundraiser is the December 6th Holiday Gala, and our own Dave Patterson is the honorary chairman. Dave told me that this is his swan song because he's moving to Florida. And he said he's going to Florida the day after the gala. I wouldn't doubt it because he loves Florida. But I'm looking forward to having Dave and his support. We have Longfellow's Catering, and this year the entertainment's a little different. We have Aaron Harks and Mike Lemmy, who are going to be performing just as a duo on stage. And that brings me to our latest partnership, and that's with the Saratoga Springs Lion Club. On Friday, January 17th, we're going to hold a trivia night here in the casino. People can form a team, buy a table, and then compete for prizes in the end. If we as the museum recruit a table, we get the funds from that table. If the Lions recruit them, they get the funds. So anybody in here that heard me say that, I recruited you. So if you want to play, you have to be on our team. Before I close out, I want to recognize a couple people, just really want to recognize our entire board. Being on a board is a commitment. It's a commitment to a fiduciary responsibility. It's a commitment to making sure that I personally do my job here. And it's a time commitment. So to all my board members, I want to thank them. And specifically, I want to thank Nate, Nathaniel Betty, who you just saw up here. He's been president for 2 years. He's stepping down. He's staying on the board while Charlie Kenzel steps up to be president. But I want to thank you, Nate. It's been a great working with you for the past 2 years. And the last person I'm going to thank, and I think she's here, is Agnes Hamburger. Agnes is our volunteer coordinator. Agnes works in our gift shop on the weekends, and she's really the behind-the-scenes person that keeps the place going, making sure people show up to work, telling me not to worry about things. And she really gets it all done. Between Agnes and John Connors, our photo curator, it couldn't be a stronger team that make the place operate. So again, thank you all for coming. If you're not members, I know Tom attacked everybody as you walked in. If you're not members, maybe Tom will get you before you leave. But thank you so much for coming tonight. And if you ever want to talk about history, just come down to the museum because I'm always here and I love to chat. Thank you.